Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Paragon guide. I am Sylphin, and in this video, we are going to take a look at a beginner's approach to the starter deck. We're going to kind of go over what can you do better with using those cards. So, Iggy Scorch is a very interesting character that can, in my opinion, can be used in quite a number of ways. So, simply open up your deck key here, and we are going for this starter deck caster energy damage. There are and there's another starter deck, but we don't want that one. We want this starter deck caster energy damage. You're going to start off by making sure that you have this screen here in front of you, and not where there's a toggle suggestions kind of right in front of you. So make sure that you are looking at this by clicking on the toggle suggestions right here. Doesn't seem to be on my screen, but just be in this kind of a view. So we're going to go with the health, mana, and the Scout's Ward right off the bat. Next, you're going to pick a lane. We are going to lane here with this Grux, simply because he is a melee character and generally gets pushed around a little bit more. So Iggy Scorch, like I said before, is a very interesting character. He has a lot of potential in a lot of different ways. So we're going to have to focus on just one method here, one perspective of Iggy Scorch that I find is generally very effective. So he is a master of controlling an area, using his abilities to kind of force the enemy into a certain way, or you know, kind of cut off a certain area of the battlefield. So one of those key abilities is his Q. The first ability we're going to go for here, Flame Turret. Deployable turret that deals 200 energy damage over 12 seconds. The number of turrets that may exist at once number is 1. So only one turret can exist so far. So as you can see, I hit my Q, and there goes a turret here, and it's dealing all of that damage here to the lane minions. The turret is going to be our main source of damage by far, so it's going to be absolutely really crucial here that we keep up our turrets at all times. The placement of these turrets, generally, there's kind of some debate, but really it's in a position that either if you're trying to deal with enemy heroes that you know, cut off their retreat, is in a good spot for dealing damage, is either off to the side of a minion wave, or you know, kind of cutting off a flanking position from a ganking hero. So right here, I'm not going to put my turret just because the enemy could very easily destroy that. So the second ability here that we went with is simply because I do have this Fang now here with me, is his E ability, is Oil Spill. Oil Trap that can be ignited by fire to cause 80 energy damage. It is definitely by far his hardest ability to land, simply because what you need to do is you need to A, land this Oil Spill in the area that you want, and then B, you need to throw your basic attack at the enemy and make sure that basic attack hits the area, ignites the oil spill, and starts the burn on the enemy. So it's definitely his hardest ability by far, and it takes a lot of work to make sure that it lands. Like here, yeah, so we're going to get it off on this Grim. It does do a okay amount of damage, but it's not the craziest by far. So I'm diving pretty hard for this, simply because we have our right click. Our right click is the last ability we went with. Definitely could have been the second ability that we went with, but like I said, we had that Fang now, so I felt fairly safe. It is called Oil Slick. Gain 120 max movement speed for 2 seconds and leave behind a trail of flammable oil. So it's just a great escape tool that you can use to kind of do some damage as well if you turn around, throw your basic attack on it. The very first card we are getting after our first 3 here is the Mage's Ward. We're going to explain why we're going for this in a moment, but those 4 card power, we're going to get that mana and cast right off the bat. So now that we are back in lane, we're going to see exactly why we got the Magus Ward. So the first Scout Sword that you got, ladies and gentlemen, is not hidden from the enemy when you place it down in the environment. The enemy can see it unless it is here on the shadow pad, which is why I placed it right here. So it was hidden until the enemy has to walk in this pad and then they see it. But now that we have our Magus Ward, it has shadow wards. So that ward, as you can see, goes invisible. The enemy can't see it, and it will be there unless the enemy counter wards and creates a ward, a shadow ward of their own for them to see. That will give us a lot of vision that we definitely need. Why do we need that vision? In my opinion, Iggy Scorch is by far a very, very, very effective lane bully, a very effective lane pusher, and gets amazing work done in lane, pushing the lanes, getting damage on towers. Is just a very good hero for that. So focusing on that, in order to do that, you need a vision of your flanks. So I need to know if enemies are coming in to try to gank me, and the Magus Ward is going to do us just fine. That is exactly what we want. The very last ability we have here is his ultimate Flame Belch. Deals 482 energy damage over 2.5 seconds, and then right at the end, right when he's about to finish the ability, you knock back the enemy. You kind of you just send them flying backwards and deal a little bit of a CC. So that knockback is really useful when you are flanking the enemy from behind, because from behind, once you use your ultimate, it knocks them, you knock them forward into your friendly team. So that is why you want to use that primarily from behind. His ultimate is kind of hard to use, kind of just on its own, simply because it is such a short range ability. It's a cone. It's a fairly small cone in front of you, so you are limited in the range. So kind of getting into a situation where you can use it is a bit difficult, but not impossible. So as you can see here, we are definitely holding back this Gideon and Muriel from advancing that far. I could be using more of my turrets, but I'm trying to keep my... ooh, goodness, we're taking a little bit too much damage, being a little bit too aggressive here. Should be letting my turrets do the work instead of my basic attacks here. I'm simply wanting to get last hits, because you do get 3 times the experience, or you do get 3 times the card power when you last hit. So that is why I'm trying to do that so much. We're going to go back here. We do have... So with the 6 card power, we're going to be able to finish off this Magus Ward. Look at that energy damage on the card and that fully upgraded bonus. The next card that we need is something that you saw there. We're running out of mana, and we need some mana. So this Wellspring Staff has mana on the primary stat and also as on the upgrades. You can see here, if we take a look, there's 2 mana upgrades that will be very, very essential, both now in the early game and also in the late game. While this video is intended to give a beginner focus on the hero, Iggy Scorch, also cover a little bit of strategy as well. So here I saw that this Grim was pushing up to the tower pretty good, and I don't want that, so I need to rotate to the right lane and try to get some stuff here. So there is a fantastic pull by that Grux, enabling us to kill that Grim. So as for skill priority, as you can see, I have upgraded our Flame Turret 3 times, and the other abilities none. So now that I can't upgrade our Q any further, we're just going to simply do our right click. My current skill level with Iggy Scorch is not the greatest to where I can rely on my E to do a significant amount of damage, so I'm going to focus on our escape ability, our right click, just because that's going to be more useful here to just keep me alive. and that is something that we can definitely, obviously, want to do. So as you can see here, we're already getting a tower down. The enemy had an absolutely tough time dealing with me in this lane just because my turrets being able to zone them away from me, simply because they have to take that damage in order to get to me. He is a fantastic zoning hero that can really push the enemy into areas that you want, or punish them heavily if they, you know, really want to get to you. So here's going to be a perfect example of what you want to do with Iggy Scorch. So right now I'm not going to put my turrets inside the enemy tower's range just because the enemy tower will focus our turrets. So what I want to do is wait for the minions if I am. So here, where I'm going to just put these turrets, sorry, kind of one in front, one behind, try to harass the enemy heroes here. And I'm gonna try at least, successful or not, to just sit back and, as you can see, get that good poke damage here on that Grim. He's forced to go right through it. I'm going to try to land my E, but like I said, not overly successful, as you can see there. Definitely a very difficult ability to land with any consistency. So as you can see, I'm just trying to stay back, let my turrets do the work. They are the majority of our damage that we'll be definitely able to rely on. So when you're in the tower, keep in mind that your turrets will focus the enemy minions, but also they might splash damage the enemy heroes. Now in the last patch, they did patch it so that splash damage did not proc the tower to attack you. But yeah, so that looks like that's not the mechanic here with Iggy Scorch. Because the turret is an intentional ability that you place in the area, it is going to trigger the tower. So just keep that in mind when you are here. Ooh, yeah, geez. When you are here in lane, you're gonna have to be careful with the towers and not letting your towers or your turrets kill yourself by getting the tower to attack you. There you go. Setting the turrets by the enemy, setting your turrets in an area that forces the enemy to either walk through them or just retreat. It's a really, really powerful hero by himself, or of course with a team. With 9 card points, we're easily going to be able to finish off this Wellspring Staff. That mana will give us the ability to really stay in these lanes, stay in these team fights, and be effective instead of having to go back for mana. Unfortunately, we have 2 card points and we can't get our next card, this Pendulum of Lords. So I'm going to try to showcase our ultimate here. When you proc it, you do all of this damage, and then right at the end there, I would have hit that Decker back towards our tower. He has some ganking potential in his ultimate. Really, I mean, you have to get so close to the enemy that, you know, because that small cone in front of you, it's difficult. It's the only ability that I feel like kind of is at odds with his hero design. But I think that I'm just trying to look at him from a different view than what he's actually meant to be. So here's this Gideon. I'm going to stay up top here, simply let my turrets do as much damage as possible, but I'm definitely going to have to just sit back and not let them come to me. We aren't, oh, there we go, look, forcing them to walk through our turrets here. I'm going to place a turret here, forcing them that way, so yeah, look, they are forced to run. Let's put our E in a nice confined area. There is that, so here's this Gideon. Gonna have to just put my turrets down, try to force him to walk through them. And yeah, here you go. As you can see, he's a very powerful character to kind of own in certain areas. So I'm going to box in this Muriel a little bit. She has to get out of there unless she wants to take the damage, but she is toast. As you can see, if you can sit back, just let your turrets do the work, and rely on your team just to kind of keep the enemies occupied, you can certainly be a very effective team member. So the reason why I was mentioning all that mana here in the early game is because I suggest that you play Iggy Scorch as a very much a lane hero, a lane bully, somebody that can do a lot of siege damage and get down the enemy towers. If there is a potential to split push, in the sense where if your team, if there's 4 of the enemy, if your friendly team, you know, going off trying to win a big team fight or win the Orb Prime or win anything really, if you are grouped up as a team, you alone are the best, in my opinion, one of the best heroes to separate from your team and go and get down a tower, because you have your turrets to help kind of secure your area. I could put a turret down there to alert me of somebody's coming, but that's why we have our wards. He is a fantastic hero to split push a lane and get a lot of siege damage done. As you can see, that's exactly what I'm doing here. We can hold this line with all of this, with my turrets here, and look, even this Murdoch has come to join in, and we can certainly get this tower down, not a problem. This Twin Blast is coming, but I'm not going to be too worried here. I'm just simply going to put down my turrets here, try to keep him at bay while I can let this Murdoch do some good tower damage. So it looks like he is going away. So there you go. That is exactly what you want to do here. Push a lane, create that opportunity for your team to come in here and take down a tower. So why are we getting this Pendulum of Lords? Simply because of this advanced chrono and this chrono upgrade. This cooldown here will really help us get those turrets up faster, deploy them quicker, get kind of that base of operations, that safe area, that controlled battlefield, just for you and your friendly team. It also has some health and some mana, and it's really a fantastic card here for Iggy and Scorch. We're trying to, here in the mid game now and into the late game, get some more health, because one of the most popular, and I think one of the most effective builds for Iggy Scorch is that it's a very tanky, very strong, lots of resistance sort of hero, because what he can do is simply play Ring Around the Rosie with his turrets, forcing the enemy to stay in this damage that he can do with his turrets, and just kind of take all of this damage and be really just kind of a really hard hero to deal with. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this starter build, and try to work with what's given to us. Alrighty, so ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I have been able to push this lane right from our tower all the way to this, from our friendly tower there, tier 1 tower, to this enemy tower here. I have been in this 3v1 for a long time. Look at the mana that I still have. I've been constantly putting down my towers, repositioning them into a more appropriate location, but now I have overstayed my welcome, and we can simply use our right click here to escape. Just like that, easily able to get away from the enemy, and just kind of do that all over the place. Push that one lane, defend that one lane, defend that one lane, push it up to the enemy, and then recall, and push that other lane. You're just so versatile in doing all of this siege damage. So 10 card points for pushing out that lane and forcing all of those the enemy to try to come and deal with me, but it did not work. So now that we focused on that chrono, that health, and that mana, we need to just get some damage. Now, there is 2 Staff of the Adamants here that have health on them, with a fully upgraded bonus of energy damage, but one of them has a health upgrade. We want that one with the health upgrade just because we want to be that as tanky as possible hero in the late game, so that we can A, survive all of the damage that the carries are going to be doing, and all of that damage in the late game that's going to be flying across the battlefield, and B, we want to try to focus on that kind of ring around the turret strategy that I mentioned earlier. Alright, we got 6 card power from, again, pushing down a lane and just being an absolute bully. After this Staff of the Adamant, we are going to go for this Elder Mage amulet. We got all of that damage here, a little bit of health. We are trying to, again, force that kind of strategy down the enemy's throat. So all of this health is going to make us one heck of a presence here, and really actually kind of bring that ultimate of ours to a little bit more of a relevance, other than just in a ganking potential. So we can put down our turrets, create a very fortified area, use our ultimate then to push, right? Because it does have that knockback, to push them into our turrets, keep them in that area, use our right click to engage heavily now that we have some health, and into our ultimate, or to get into a better position to use our turrets. There's tons of potential here now that we have a little bit of sustains. And once again, with all of that mana we got earlier, we're going to be able to just send out our turrets like mad here, and really fortify this tower so that I can just stay here, kill all of these minions without an issue at all. The turrets, however, you should keep in mind that they do not actually attack the tower itself. They only attack minions and heroes. So in this situation here, there aren't any minions, so I don't really want the tower to... Oh, yeah, so there you go. There's the turret attacking the hero and then proccing the enemy tower there to attack me. So in the defensive role here, where I am running away, he is absolutely a monster, just because the enemy has to walk through all of your turrets to get to you. Look at all this health that we have been taking, or all this damage that we've been taking, but due to all of our health here, this Muriel wants to play. Let's see here, let's use our ultimate. I'm going to try to knock her back into our tower, into our turret, but okay, didn't quite work. But looks like look how long, ladies and gentlemen, just look how long we were able to stay in this engagement. I'm just simply putting down my towers, putting my turrets. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for all of my misspeaking here. Turrets, towers, turrets. But look at all of that sustain in lane, being an absolute bully here, being able to get a lot done. That's exactly what you want to be as Iggy Scorch. Big card power, we're going to finish off this Elder Mage amulet. Look at that, 700 extra health here. We're going to have a lot. 700 plus this 300 plus that 300. It's a lot. 3,000 total health is a lot for a caster. In the proper kind of tanky turret build of mine, you do, well, you're supposed to get some resistances, some armor, some physical armor, and some energy barrier, but in this deck, simply don't have it, so we work with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we were able to finally take down that middle tower and push all the way to the inhibitor, get 5 kills or something like that, we are an absolute force here. So after this Elder Mage amulet, we are going for this Staff of the Adamant. We want that 100 health there, and it is simply just better than the Wellspring Staff because we want that health. Finally going to do that, and look, and whoop, my bad. 4 card power, that cast and cast all of that energy damage to keep us relevant in the end game with a 100 extra health. Going to be wonderful. Now, if you take a look in the middle of each jungle, you'll see that there are 2 different kinds of colored special camps. Right in the middle, you see that there is a blue and a red camp. Now, each camp does something different. This blue camp gives you, as you can see on your screen, cooldown reduction and energy regeneration. We have increased mana regeneration and further cooldown reduction. Perfect for Iggy Scorch. There is the red camp that gives you bonus damage and extra movement speed when you hit with your skills or abilities. That would be good, obviously. I mean, more damage and movement speed, but this increased mana regeneration is going to be absolutely huge for us here. We will be able to put all of our turrets down here, create a fortified area, that we can just kind of rally to when my team finally gets up here with me and create this kind of a team fight here. Look at how much we're able to just sit here. If they want to get through, they're going to have to, you know, deal with a lot of damage here. I'm just simply keeping this here, waiting for my minions and pushing up. So these these guys have to be very careful here now that we are doing all that damage. So look at that, 3,200 health here in the late game here. This Gideon wants to play, but I do have my ultimate. He's going to melt, trying to go back on this Muriel here. Gonna have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, so here's this Greg coming in. Wonderful pull. There we go. Take a look at that. And I'm not even worried here about this Decker ultimate, just because she is toast. Can you see? Can you see all of the sustain here? How we are just able to stay and be an absolute bully. He's doing a massive amount of work. This Grim, however, does have his ultimate that I'm kind of worried about, but if he wants to chase me down, yeah, look at that. He's going to have to deal with all of my turrets that I can place as I'm retreating. Use my right click, get out of here. There you guys gotta have it. A little bit of a showcase here. It definitely would have been better if I had split pushed on into the right lane there, destroy a final tier 1 or tier 2 tower. So let's see if our Fang Mao can do it, and if not, we will clean it up. And the final 3 card power, finishing off this Staff of the Adamant. 227 energy damage is an absolute ton. So very, very strong here. Look at all of that damage. 17.5% cooldown reduction. Fantastic. Our ultimate here, as you can see, is already off the cooldown as we just used it there to secure that kill on that Gideon, I believe. Just great ability, great deck. If you do it in this fashion, ladies and gentlemen, it should provide you with that as much of an advantage as early as possible in the game, so you can get a snowball effect. And as you can see here, yeah, definitely well ahead of the enemy team. That's exactly what you want. So I am being very ballsy here, ladies and gentlemen, coming right from behind on a 2v1, 2v2 here. I'm going to try to see if I can... Oh, there is this Grim here being so aggressive. I definitely should have paid for it, but look at all the health we have and we're able to survive. So very good example there of the ultimate being used as a gank tool to provide you with some utility and, of course, all of that crazy damage. So there is his ultimate in a nutshell. Does a ton of damage here. Let's see, 1,280 physical energy damage. Sorry, over 2.5 seconds. Well, it's a very, very scary ability that if the enemy is not aware of your ultimate, then make them pay. Because if you have somebody who's being a little cocky and you know, trying to come in like this, definitely have your ultimate ready for them so that you can use it, and that should be able to, yeah, look at that cooldown reduction, reducing our ultimate. Oh, it barely is able to follow that Decker, and she gets out only, oh, very nice there, but looks like we'll die to minions. No, very, very close. Completely drained of mana and health. So much sustain here. It's a pretty damn good build here for a starter deck. Now that all of the inhibitors are down, you are going to see just the power of Iggy Scorch here on this final push. These towers are going to be monstrous as they deal all of their damage here. Look at all of those numbers. Just absolutely incredible. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm kind of speechless here. It really is a very good build that's really easily available here to beginners, and so I really hope that this has been quite the guide for you, and hopefully it's exactly what you're looking for. Because Iggy Scorch is a very, very powerful hero. If played right, he definitely has a learning curve and some kind of, you know, feel to him that you need to be aware of, because it's don't be alarmed if you feel like he's not that powerful, because he does take some time to get used to, and just be effective. While this starter deck is very good, it's certainly not what I would build for him. Please go to my channel and figure out, yeah, just take a look at the tanky turret build. I will be actually sending out a revised version of that, simply because it is such a good build, and yeah, what a fantastic hero. And victory. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Iggy and Scorch. I would definitely suggest that you play him as a strong split push hero that can definitely join in on team fights. When you do join in on team fights, use that gank, come in from the side with your ultimate to really focus down a hero or get somebody out of position. That is certainly the best way to use that ultimate. So we start off with the Mage's Ward here with all of that ender damage and a little bit of mana to really bring us, keep us there in lane, and also just use our abilities. Casters have an issue with mana here in the early game, so perfect card there. We went next into the Wellspring Staff with all of that mana, 300 extra mana here, so that's exactly what we need there in the early game, like I said. We went into the Pendulum of Lords for that chrono and that little bit of health. Overall, really great card here, being able to reduce all of our abilities and use them more often. And it went way too quick, so I'll go back to the build and we'll continue. After this Pendulum of Lords, we went into the Staff of the Adamant for that more damage and that little bit of health there, and that health upgrade. That's at the end of the mid-game, so a lot of damage is starting to really appear here on the battlefield. Need that health upgrade and the health on the Staff of the Adamant. We then went into the Elder Mage Amulet just to focus on that health a little bit more, try to get our core strategy, our core focus of the build, kind of that ring around the turret kind of build working. So all of that health there, and then finish it off with the Staff of the Adamant with all of that damage there, just to keep us relevant right at the very end of the end game. That is my approach to the starter build. I suggest that you use the starter build caster for Iggy and Scorch. Please let me know down in the comments if this was helpful for you. If it was, please subscribe so I can help you later on as well. That is my job, and that would make me really happy if I was able to do that. Please like the video if you liked it, dislike if you dislike it. If you dislike it, let me know down in the comments why you disliked it. Maybe you have some tips for me. Please consider becoming a patron, and of course, like I said, subscribe. Until next time, like always, take care.